Hey, this is Tech Out Loud, where three college guys come together to talk about the biggest names in tech. I'm Andy Dang, and I'm joined by...
Alex Weston.
Christopher Walton.
And this is the news for the week of October 2nd, and this is our first episode. Thank you for joining us, first and most. And we chose I guess kind of an ironic, sad, somber time to start our podcast series, because Steve Jobs died this week. And even though I'm a Microsoft person, I'm a Microsoft fanboy, I'll put that out there right now. This hurt me really bad. I mean, how did you guys feel about this?
I mean, that guy's had so much. I don't know. It's pretty sad.
I mean, it is pretty sad. I mean, I feel like it's
you're speechless, aren't you? You
Yeah,
don't know what to say.
It is. I don't know if it's not an end of an era. I mean, it's.
You don't think so? You don't think it's an end of an era?
I think it's a little too early to say. I mean, it was a start of a great legacy. I mean, he did start a great company that rivaled with Bill Gates.
Yeah, without Apple, what would our technology industry be like today?
You know, he did bring us Pixar.
Yes.
You know, without that, I don't think I would have grown up my childhood without Toy Story.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Toy Story.
But it's definitely sad to see someone that great and iconic. I mean, from my perspective, I've always wanted to meet him and have a conversation and maybe have him on our podcast, in our future days. But
Yeah, I don't think it would be on our podcast.
I think everybody knew this day would come, but they didn't think it would come.
No,
So
yeah,
early.
I think it's true. Everybody knows Steve Jobs would die eventually. Everybody's human. We're all gonna die, but it's just kind of like you didn't. It's weird.
Especially right after the announcement, the Big
Right.
Apple announcement,
Yeah.
which I think
Once he resigned, then I was like, it's.
I felt this way when Steve Jobs resigned Apple. I was like, Steve Jobs is the pusher in the industry. Like without him, I'm not gonna get into who copied who in the industry. That's not my place. But he is. You can't not deny that without the iPhone, Android would never be where it is today. Windows Phone 7 would never came out. I'd still be using Windows Mobile 6.
Yeah.
Like
I think I'd still be sticking with my Nokia brick phone.
I had a Samsung. I don't even know.
Exactly. He spurred innovation. It's just so sad to see that innovation just gone.
And I kind of felt the same way when Bill Gates stepped down.
Definitely, that was the end of an era. Too.
But it didn't feel as dramatic as when Steve Jobs died, though.
I think it's the no other. Like, even though again, I'm a Microsoft fanboy at heart, I can't deny it. But everybody I talk to in tech doesn't want to be Bill Gates. Everybody wants to be Steve Jobs. He's just that kind of an icon that's so linked with his company, who's so deep rooted into that culture that everybody wants to be him.
He's that rock and roll star that people just want to perspire to.
Exactly. Like everybody kept comparing him to John Lennon.
Yeah. But I mean, and after that, I think we should talk about the this big announcement that just happened. This Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Let's talk iPhone event. Tim Cook's first
Keynote. I mean,
Steve Jobs.
as a Apple fanboy, I mean, I was kind of a little disappointed. I was watching the Engadget live blog, and it seemed that they were just going straight into the recover, like it was a recap of what we did last time. Hey, let's talk about iOS 5, and let me get you prepped.
I felt WWDC all over again.
Yeah, it was all that, and then they were building up that anticipation, for the iPods.
You know what it was? It's Steve. They were missing Steve Jobs. One more thing.
Yeah. Because I mean, the iPods. There's not much you can do. I feel.
They updated my Nano watch. For all those who don't know, I wear the iPod Nano as a watch, and they just updated my watch with 16 new clock faces. And I wore it as a watch before it was cool. So just putting that there.
The guy does own an Apple product.
Yeah. He does.
The only Apple product you'll probably ever see.
He's a Microsoft guy that owns an Apple product as a watch.
Yeah. Let's see Windows come out with a cool watch like that.
Yeah,
know, right?
Microsoft come at me with a Zoom watch, and I'll gladly accept it.
Let's see. The iOS 5, I think it's great. I like the new notifications system. It is time for a little bit of a refresh.
Yeah,
at the same point, you're trying to get me to convert from my 4 with a better processor.
You know what I see it as? I see it as they got kind of lazy. I mean, sure, internally it's superior in every way to the 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like dual core processor, a whole new GPU that just beats everything out of the market today. But it's all in the iPad 2. The iPad 2's been out for 8 months now?
Yeah. It's like a smaller, condensed version with better camera quality.
But everybody expected that. Every different phone release, you expect better quality camera. You expect a better processor. I just feel like, because I expected a 5, not a 4S. You know.
And what I'm thinking is like, the first one came out, so it was great. Second one introduced, it was more heavy. It was able to support the App Store better than the first one. Then the 3GS came out. It had video. Then the 4G was the fourth generation was the big step with the HD video,
The
Retina
Retina
display,
display,
front-facing
the
camera,
whole new
FaceTime. It was
design.
everything was new. And with this 4S, I feel like they're doing another step into the 3GS and
Well, see,
making it a
that's-
little bit better. But
Yeah,
waiting
that's
for
true.
that, wait next year for that 5, and I tell you that 5 is going to be the next thing.
Well, see, this is like I always said when the iPhone first came out. I've never seen myself using one. First of all, because they were way too expensive for a budget. Like,
Yeah.
really.
I mean, they're trying to make it accessible for everyone to
Yeah,
get it. They
now.
have if you sign up with AT&T right now, you'll get the 3GS, for free.
For free, yeah.
For free, but
then-
you are 2 generations behind.
Yeah, would you mind staying 2 years, locked in contract for 2 years, and then they're gonna charge you up the ass for the data plan anyways. So wouldn't you rather? I mean, even if you had $100 extra, you can get a 4.
Yeah.
Like that's the real deal I see.
I mean, but there are people out there that just haven't had the funds to buy an iPhone,
Yeah.
and if it's just to say, hey, I've had an iPhone, and it's entry level.
Dude, if you go on eBay right now, you can still find it 3GS, but they're still expensive.
Yeah.
I see the real deal in the 4. Selling that for $100, those things are gonna fly off the shelves.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys heard, in the UK, I forget which company, cell phone company, they're giving out the iPhone 4 free.
For free.
Wow.
For free.
Yeah, like totally. I'm open.
With it-
My mind's totally open. That's like a deal waiting to be had.
Yeah.
Is
I know I had a couple friends, last night, or early this morning, waiting for the pre-order to go live. And and they have the 4, and I just can't make the commitment to a 4S. I mean,
Yeah, let's talk about
does
that,
Siri
like-
make me want to go to the 4S?
Yeah, let's talk about
Series
that. Like,
is
what
what?
is the selling point of this 4S that you can't get anywhere else? Like, you can
Siri,
get Siri.
plain and simple.
You think so, Siri?
It's Siri. Everywhere else you can get a better 1080p video recording. You can get
That's true.
dual core processor. You can get access to
An app store.
App
of
Store,
some sort.
but you can't get the quality of apps in a market that's known for Apple, which is number one. For Siri, which is their new, I would say, voice activated software.
I wouldn't say like it's a lot more powerful than voice software. Like it is a voice software at its core, obviously, but like watching the demo, it's a lot more powerful. Like I can dictate. Voice commands have been around forever.
Yeah.
I can dictate my phone to call someone. I can dictate a text message, but never has it responded to me in a way that could be almost considered human.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way you saw it on stage, he'd be like, "Is it gonna rain today?" I mean, like he doesn't ask it, "Is it gonna rain today?" He asks, "Do I need my raincoat today?" And then the computer's like, "Oh, it's gonna rain on Friday."
Yeah, it was like more of a personal response, and getting a actual, I would say, like response back of saying, this is what it is, compared to saying, "Give me the weather, computer." Today's forecast.
It's definitely natural.
It is. Yeah, it is, and that I used to use their old app when they had it. It was like their basic app before they got picked up for Apple.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It was boggy, had a lot of problems. Could be worked out, but being picked up by Apple now, and I think, and only being available on the 4S, I think that's going to push a lot of people who have the 4.
But that's like really strange because it is the same exact specs as an iPad 2.
Mhm.
And then there was rumors that say when they demoed Infinity Blade and then Infinity Blade 2, one of the programmers for Infinity Blade 2 said that, oh, this iPhone 4 has a dual-core CPU, an 8-megapixel camera that records 1080, and 512 megabytes of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
If that's true, Apple hasn't confirmed it yet, but if that 512 number is true, why can't the iPad 2 get Siri? Why is it an iPhone 4S exclusive?
I don't know. To me, that could be a simple. I don't know if it's going to be a software download or becoming like built-in like Game Center.
It seemed pretty
in
integrated
newsstands.
to iOS 5.
iOS 5. Yet I've had the luxury of using iOS 5 for a while, and I could say I love it, but I don't know why they wouldn't push that out early. I can see.
But you have the 4 now.
I have the 4. But running iOS 5, and I like it a lot. It's like taking the 4, I would say, and putting it in a whole new phone. You
Really? You think that's that
Really?
big of a change?
It is from the old 4.3. Having no notification, new center. Having the text message going behind the iCloud storage, which is great to be able to have a new phone, or to have not even have a computer, and to have and just launch the Apple Store and have your phone right out of the box. That was my biggest pet peeve when I had the iPad.
But
I had to sync this with my computer before I can use it, and this great device by Apple. Now with this iOS 5 update, I'll be able to launch everything right out of the box.
that should have been from day one, though.
You would think,
True,
but
yeah.
it took a while.
And they just added Wi-Fi sync.
Yeah,
So
and that's great. I've been using that a while.
Like, how does the Wi-Fi sync work? Because Windows Phone 7 had Wi-Fi sync ever since its launch.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was such a revolution, obviously, because I'm a Microsoft fanboy. But how it worked was you plug the Windows Phone in at night into a charger, and if it's connected to your home network, it would sync with Zune and all your content.
Mm-hmm.
But what it didn't tell me, and what got really annoying really fast, was if I closed Zune on my computer, it would reopen up Zune to sync.
I haven't had that. I don't think it's done that for me. When I connect it to the computer, I do get the automatic Wi-Fi sync notification, and then when I start downloading apps over the air, it'll start downloading onto my MacBook as well.
Okay, so it's kind of like that Wi-Fi syncing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on my Apple's website right now. It says every time you connect your iOS device to a power source, say for charging, it'll automatically sync.
Mm-hmm.
But does it does it launch iTunes on wherever you're when
you automatically when you
the thing.
plug in your iPhone into the computer, it will automatically launch iTunes.
Yeah, but if you plug into a power source and it does the wireless syncing, would your computer just launch iTunes and stop whatever you're doing? Because that's what Zune does for me when I try to sync my Windows Phone 7 and plug into a charging station.
I don't know. I've never really I've always had iTunes running in the background,
right.
So I couldn't say if that has happened. But I could see.
Well, I guess we'll find out 5 days when
it goes live. Yeah, but it is a big difference. I know a lot of people are assuming that the new 4S, the S stands for steal because they did steal, the Android notification system, the Windows phone.
Again, I'm not gonna go into who stole from who because there's so much litigation and so much flame wars going on about who stole from who. But I don't mind if companies steal from each other. Honestly, if you can do it right, do it. Like Palm did multitasking perfect with WebOS first, the whole card layout, and you see that incorporated in everything now. The BlackBerry Playbook uses cards. New Windows Phone 7 Mango uses cards for multitasking. Honeycomb even has a card view when you use it on an Android tablet. It's a great system. Why not take it? Sure, I would love innovation, but it's great. I guess I'm not Steve Jobs. I can't think of a new way to do it, but in my mind right now, I feel it's great.
And this new thing with iCard, are they trying to cut Hallmark out of the business of making greeting cards now?
But see, I was talking to another friend of mine who said that iCard looks really nice but there's already an app for that. TouchNote. I've used TouchNote ever since its inception, and I've always sent cards from around the world to my friends from pictures I've taken. I just guess that now that it's incorporated in, people are saying, "Oh, it's a great feature to have in."
Yeah, so it's been there. So I don't know if it's really stealing from Hallmark because the whole sending from your phone greeting cards.
True, but Hallmark's had this business of they do greeting cards, and are they kind of taking away business from Hallmark by doing this, having an app for the phone that does it, and Apple is printing them, and you're having these personal cards?
How much do they charge for it?
I believe it's $2.
Because TouchNote is a UK-based company, so they charge £149, which is about $3 when converted to American dollars. And does that $2 include shipping too?
I don't think they specified it when they did the announcement. I think they just said always shipping does cost, and I think it always depends on where you live at. Okay. That's a big thing with me. I could buy something so cheap off Amazon, but if I didn't have Amazon Prime, I'm paying $8 maybe $20 on shipping.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that's what always gets me with companies. They promise you these great deals, but then it's like where they get you and they bang you over the table and take you for a ride is with the shipping.
Yeah. And I'm reading right here actually that Hallmark doesn't seem to be scared of Apple's greeting card.
Well, there's always going to be a little niche for Hallmark enthusiasts. Because, nothing... Sure, it's nice to send an e-card. iCard sends a real card, though. It's nice to do that, but then there's also this kind of intimacy when you actually hand them the card yourself. instead of like just making it on your phone on the way to work and then sending it through, and then they get it like 3 days later. You don't know when they get it, and then you just know you got the sign that they got it when they text you. Oh, thanks for the card.
It's more personalized.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not, you can personalize it more with iCard, but then you don't get the intimacy of actually giving it to them. Maybe if I could like,
True.
if they gave like an option to like send it to a Kinko's, and then the Kinko's could print out the card for me, and then I can give them the card myself. I don't know.
I would assume that if you want it personalized, I mean, and to feel that personal feeling, you would have it sent to you, and then that you could deliver that to your person.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know that iPhoto, if you take a lot of pictures and you want to put it in a whole album, Apple does bind and do everything for you like a Kinko's and sends it. And I've seen, like, one of my friends takes photography, and he's great pictures, of his son at his birthday, and binded it and had it, Apple give it to him as a gift, so that, when he gets older, he'll be able to look back on it. And I thought Apple did a great job, and it was phenomenal.
But let's get to the meat of this. I mean, we're all college guys. We're struggling to pay student loans.
True.
We're on a budget. We just spent our money getting last gen's phone. Are we really going to spend the money? Is like this new 4S worth it to upgrade and spend more money than what we have? Like, you have the iPhone 4. Right now, I have a Windows Phone 7 and HD 7. Whoever cares.
I made the mistake in buying the iPhone 3G before the iPhone 4 was released. And, well, I was going to get the 3GS, but I got the 3G at a pretty good deal. So, like, it was like...
And I would say, are you satisfied with the 3G?
I was at the time.
Yeah.
And then the 4.0 update killed
the
it.
The 4.0 update destroyed it, and then I found out Apple dropped support.
Yeah, it does bog down. Severely hurts the 4 update. Does hurt the 3G.
It did.
And that's a big thing with me. Apple kind of like... if you're not on the ball for at least 2 years, we're gonna leave you behind in the dust.
But like, see the thing, like, so you have the original iPhone adopters who will get the 3GS, the 4S, but then those kind of late to the game, waiting for the 3G, because 3G was already a known technology when the iPhone came out, and you have people who are like angry that it didn't have 3G. So then those who waited and got adopted to the 3G are now getting the 4, and then theoretically should get the 5 when it ships next year.
I mean, for me, being the fanboy I am, I would say I had the 3G, liked it a lot. Didn't go for the 3GS, didn't really need video. I had a flip, shot great video. My thing was, if I'm going to have video, I'm going to have good quality. Then the 4 came out, and I was like, wow, this is a real big thing. I like FaceTime. I use Skype a lot, so to have that on my phone, that would be really cool. The upgrade in video, the faster processor, I mean, it was great. The 4S, I mean,
I think maybe
being on a budget, I don't think I'm gonna jump and take
maybe because it
order.
looks exactly the same.
I think
It does.
so.
Does it have a glass back? They didn't show the back, and I haven't. No,
I'm pretty sure it's the
think
same
it has-
exact chassis. Like, it's the exact same chassis as the iPhone.
because
4.
they were showing side panels, and I was just like, just show me the back.
I think it actually does have a glass back.
I mean, it's classic Apple style, isn't it? They say during the iPhone 4 event, they say the iPhone 4 is our most successful iPhone yet, and it's such a popular look. Why change it?
Mhm.
And then they release the 4S. So I'm guessing it's going to be the same.
Yeah, I mean, you have a 3G. I could see you jumping onto the 4S.
Yeah, and because you guys have 4, I mean, it'd be no point getting 4S.
Yeah.
The 4 basically does the same thing as 4S, minus like iOS 5 and just the
But it
increase
has
in
a
speed.
dual
And
core
Siri.
processor.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, I think a
The
lot of
speed.
people, it's the speed and Siri.
But you won't notice the speed because Apple optimizes all of its hardware besides 3G and under. That all of its hardware will like iOS runs smooth as butter.
Mm-hmm.
Like on any, like Android, that's where you need the specs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not gonna get into like Android's always laggy. No, the Galaxy S2 shone so much when I used it and had it for 3 months. But I'm a Windows Phone person myself.
Yeah.
So I guess I probably will spring for 4S. I mean, just
Are you
Now-
springing
Why would I
for it
get-
because it's coming on Sprint?
maybe.
Yeah,
It is.
well, now that I don't think we announced, but Apple has a CDMA World Phone. So I mean, everyone should be getting it. I don't know if except
T-Mobile's
T-Mobile,
not getting
it's
it.
not getting it, but Sprint does have that great Simply Everything plan, and for a college student, $80, unlimited talk, text, web. It's a little pricey, but I still think it is doable. And I don't know how,
Yeah, and I
you
agree.
know, if I want to leave, AT&T.
But then it like when they announced the thing I had, because I'm also a wireless junkie. Like I love talking about bands and speeds, and I was like, I'll one day give a rant on the 4G we have now because it's ridiculous how these carriers market.
Mhm.
But Apple, when they announced their keynote, they said that the iPhone 4S would have HSDPA, which I was very shocked because at the end of 2011, when LTE is coming out right now,
Mhm.
you do not have at least HSPA plus. That shocked me a little bit.
I mean, Apple's a little late to the party all the time because they want to take the time to make sure that their product is ready and capable of handling such speeds, and that it's
Yeah, I forgive LTE, but no HSPA plus at the end of 2011 is just a little behind.
true.
And they kind of waited 3 months
Yeah,
after they
had-
usually release a new iPhone. Or
Are
And
they
then-
going to release a 5?
But then like again, sorry to cut
No,
you
no,
off,
no,
but
it's
like
fine.
the HSPDA, that speed only applies to GSM carriers, so only AT&T gets that speed boost.
True. Also, like AT&T is the only network that lets you multitask out of your phone.
For the meantime, until the iPhone adopts LTE, CDMA, you cannot do voice and data at the same time.
Yeah, and I know that's a big thing that people don't like in Verizon with their Blackberries, or their Evo phones. They want to be able to leave, have a conversation, and do multitask. Because I mean, I have a lot of times where
Can you multitask on WiMAX? I'm pretty sure you could have
Can you?
multitasked on WiMAX.
I can look it up, but I'm not sure about that. You mean like the Evo?
Yeah, like when WiMAX, I'm should.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if it doesn't.
Let's see here. It's let me see. Here's an article that says multitasking made easy with WiMAX.
Okay, I'm guessing then WiMAX.
So yeah, I'm assuming that it does do multitasking.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, also, is Apple going to come out with a sixth phone? Or a fifth phone this year, like this summer? You think they would have an announcement at
I think-
WTC of a 5?
I think Apple, like, honest to God, I want them to release a new iPhone because then that means Microsoft has to kick it into high gear and Google has to kick it to high gear. I love when a new iPhone comes out because the companies release awesome phones after the iPhone comes out. Like, I really hope that coming this January or even March, I'll give it to March, that they say, "Oh look, we have an iPhone 5 just waiting in the back pocket."
True.
I mean, are they really going to do that after 6 months though?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
Apple's
surprised. I
very
wouldn't put it past
reclusive.
Apple.
Like all these rumors are going around, even though most of them were pretty right on the 4S. There's no reason that they were right on the 5, just not the timing of the 5.
Right.
I mean, we did see a lot of. I don't know if you guys saw, but I did on these tech podcasts and websites of these 5, iPhone 5,
Yeah, mock-ups.
mock-ups, and
Everybody had
also,
mock-ups.
but they're the cases. So my thing is, if these cases that are out there for the 5 that don't fit the 4S, could there possibly be a 5 in the works?
Well, they're always going to be a 5 in the works. Like
Mhm.
Apple is, if you're going to be a successful company, you always have to have your next device. Especially one as linear as Apple,
Mhm.
they have to be thinking about their next thing while they're launching this.
Right. 4S is not the end of the line. So
And with that way, I think we should, move on to.
Oh yeah, like oh my gosh.
Let's
Google,
cover-
CTIA is next week. We'll cover that. So tune in next week if you want that. But that was supposed to be the event where Google unleashes the beast. This Nexus Prime, this rumored 4.6-inch display. You know how massive that is compared to a 3.5 of the iPhone?
It is. I mean, I was definitely looking for a bigger screen. I am tired of squinting a lot and enlarging on my phone.
But then this display has a 720 display. It will have a 1280 by 720 resolution and LTE. Like, I mean, I can only imagine the battery life on that phone, but right now it sounds wicked.
I think a big thing that's right now that Google has is that Google Wallet. I kind of want that accessibility on my phone to
Really?
be able to pay.
You're not scared at all about like the security privacy issues.
No, not at all. I mean, I do use SquareUp, the company from Jack Dorsey from Twitter. I do use this device of this card skimmer for businesses that are using, and that's kind of out there with its privacy and content, and people, when you use that, they're kind of like skeptical. Whenever you launch something that new, people are always going to have that fear of identity theft and privacy and everything like that. But I mean,
But you need NFC to use Google Vault, don't you?
Yes.
And that's what the Nexus will have.
hmm
But no other, not. Again, the iPhone 4S, it doesn't have NFC.
That was one of the things.
What is it? Like, Apple, come on.
Yeah, and they left that out. So that was on the list of rumors, what was supposed to be in the iPhone 4S. It did not make it in. And NFC is becoming more popular. So,
I mean, it's always been out in Korea and Japan. I guess the US is still late to the game.
and that's what Google's trying to change.
But then, like, it's kind of amazing 'cause was it last week that Amazon had their press conference?
Yes, I do believe so. Oh, hold on a second. Let me.
Because I think Amazon just got it. Amazon just killed Google with its own operating system.
Was it for? I thought the Amazon was just covering. I thought their press conference was only for the Kindle.
That's what.
Yeah, the Kindle Fire, like
Okay.
that tablet and Android, like it is Android. Underneath of it all, it is Android 2.3 Gingerbread, and for it to come at a $200 price point with a dual-core processor and IPS display, it just blows my mind. And then what even blows my mind even more is how they how all tablets have to be blessed by Google in order to get like Gmail, the Market, and all the Google services. Android didn't get blessed by Google, if you may. They have their own app store that curates good quality apps for it. So they're already taking market share away from Google's Android app store. They're making money off of Android that's open sourced without using any Google services. They just killed it. So like, how do you guys feel that Amazon's releasing this tablet at such a great price?
$199 and free 2-day shipping. I don't know. I'd actually consider buying one.
I definitely want one. I mean, I've been hesitant to get a Kindle for a while. I thought, my iPad. I mean, I could have books and download them there with the Kindle app. I mean, do I really need to get a Kindle?
But is the experience good on the Kindle app? Because the experience on the Kindle Windows Phone 7 app is awful. Like,
Yeah.
I love my Kindle just for the Kindle experience.
I do like, the app is not bad. I do have a Nook, Barnes Noble's Nook, and I do like, reading on that e-paper. It does a little softer on the eyes and does make a difference. The Kindle, is that the Kindle e-paper? Is the
tablet's not.
tablet's not? But I mean, for the price, I definitely will pull the trigger on it, and I might pick one up. I mean, is it how many gigs is it?
It has 8 gigs of in onboard storage, but it doesn't have 3G, which is odd because they you're supposed to sync everything. Like we have our streaming services, we're gonna sync your books through Whisper Sync, but yet they only give you 8 gigs and no 3G.
If they did have 3G, who do you think they would pair with?
It's always AT&T.
AT&T.
It's always AT&T. Like when the PlayStation Vita when it comes out in America, it's gonna be with AT&T. The iPad started 3G on AT&T. I mean, there's no, and plus you need a SIM card for it, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I know Verizon can do 3G on the iPad, but there's that whole activation weird scheme.
True.
I think they'll stay away from 3G for now.
Yeah. Another great thing I think Amazon launched this week was Amazon Trade-In, and if you're a fan of their Facebook page, it was kind of like a little thing they just tossed in there, and I was reading up on it, and it's pretty much almost like Gazelle.com, where you can trade in your old electronics. They give you a fair price on it. You get a credited Amazon, I would say Amazon gift card attached to your account.
Oh, so they don't give you money. They
don't give you money.
They give you Amazon credit.
They give you Amazon credit, which is, kind of like money. I mean, Amazon, you can buy a lot of stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, that's true. I shop on Amazon a lot.
I wish I knew that because I just traded in my Sony Vaio for this MacBook Pro I have. And, that was
the dark side.
That was not the best idea going through Best Buy to do that. So
yeah, and they do have a limited things on their trade-in list. They are going to start expanding, I'm sure, because when it does go into e-readers, I think I'm going to have a Sony e-reader I barely use. It's collecting dust. I'm definitely just going to toss that away. I mean, it has great prices. They also do for college students textbooks. I mean, I have
that textbook.
Textbooks. That Bio 1 is just sitting there collecting dust. I think this is a great opportunity, and also with their products that to have. I mean, it's kind of forcing you to like put that money back into Amazon and reuse that technology. Which I mean, there's Amazon. I think has better prices than Best Buy or Tiger Direct or Chegg and some of these places where you can get electronics. And are they is it a little greedy to have just this debit card not to give you cash and have a credit? Yes, but I mean think about how many people are buying stuff from Amazon each day. I just got Prime and I love it. I mean I buy
all. I'm a Canon fanboy too.
Yeah,
and I buy a lot of my lenses from Amazon, just not from Canon themselves because they're cheaper on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They're the same quality.
Yeah, I mean I want to buy GoPro. 200. I think it's like $270 for the GoPro Motorsport Edition. I'm struggling to have money to save up for that, and just to spend it on a camera. But recycling old electronics and getting a fair price for them as an Amazon credit, and to buy a GoPro that's already cheaper than going through the website of their website and going to Amazon website to have that, and then to have it with Amazon Prime come like within 2 days. That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's actually a really good deal.
I mean, I can't complain with that.
People trade in their old stuff.
And I know, Andy, you're going to be going to the Nokia.
Yeah, I'll be going to Nokia World in 3 weeks. So that's kind of early to talk about it since CTIA is next week, which will be lots of news next week. But I'm going, right now, as it's planned, I'm going to London in 3 weeks on October 26th and 27th for Nokia World, where Nokia will announce the fruits of what they've partnered with Microsoft. And I can't wait for that. And I'll have a big scoop on that too, so tune in for that one. Other than that, this is
going to conclude our first episode.
Yeah, this is our first episode. Steve Jobs tragically died. I mean, 56.
56 is, I think it's pretty young.
That's young for this day and age.
That's pretty young, especially with all the advances like medicine and technology. You think you could at least pull out to maybe like 102 by now.
I'll just say, I can't say the F word, but I'll say screw you, cancer.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best thing I could say for her.
I mean, cancer does suck.
Yeah, and actually, to be honest, he actually did live longer than we all expected.
I mean, he did
8 years since he has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Because
it was interesting. Cause
I do think that liver bought him some extra time, though. That liver transplant.
It was interesting because Steve Wozniak, his business partner, said recently in an interview of AP that Steve always told me that he would die before he reached 40. And he lived every day like it was his last day. And I think that's what made him so great.
Yeah.
I think he made a speech at Stanford University.
Oh, yeah. I get pumped every time I watch that speech.
Yeah, that speech is just inspiring.
Yeah. We'll miss you, Mr. Jobs. And we know Apple will continue with your DNA embedded forever within it. And I hope Microsoft can pick up the slack. Come on, Microsoft. Come on, Google. This is your time. I'm joking, of course. But
So that concludes our episode of Tech Out Loud. I'm Christopher.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Andy.
And we'll tune in next week, and we'll see you guys soon.